0, 1, 2, 3. Let's get started.
All right, welcome back, my beautiful people. It's another awesome episode. On this one, we're gonna be talking a bit, and it's gonna be of the subject of this new chassis that came out called the ME chassis. Well, with very little that has been disclosed to us, this new kit and new chassis is very similar to what has been already previously put out of the MA chassis. So with all that said, we're gonna dive into, I have a few pictures that I kind of sourced from the internet, especially from RC Mart. Thank you so much for you guys having awesome pictures. And RC Mart, if you really are into all my content and what we're doing, I buy a lot from you guys, so sponsorship would be awesome. But besides the point, thank you RC Mart for some really cool pictures. If you want more information and things that maybe I didn't cover, go to their website, RC Mart, and they have everything you need that discloses about this new chassis. It's a little difficult to get the kit right now because of how new it is, but with that said, we can say that we're going to be getting a few soon. I'm in Greece, so getting things like that is especially for a video that I want to put out quite soon and talk about this subject before it passes. It's a little difficult to get the kit, so besides getting the kit, I got myself a lot of research done, finding pictures and so forth for you guys, and I just wanted to cover my feelings on the new chassis, and I guess tell you my professional opinion on what it could be used for outside of it being a regular kit. It looks to me that it's going to be a really fast chassis because, again, like I said, it's very similar to what's been already put out, which is this chassis. This is the MA chassis is a very fast chassis. It's the car that we previously built for Toxic. That is the Tune class version of the car. If I can find it, there's so many cars here. But yes, the MA chassis, well, here's the white one. So they're great for bmax, great for Tune class. And I say that they're fast chassis because the transmission of the MA is very smooth out of the box. You don't really have to modify the transmission to run smooth. And a smooth transmission, transfers the power fast, smooth, and accurately. So in the end, that equals faster car with less headache. So with the less headache that you have to deal with this chassis, the MA, for the transmission, you can focus on building the car more and having more fun, which is great. But when it gets turned from, which is like this, a Tune class kind of bmax car, to now you get away from the Tune class bmax and you want to go to open class, the chassis, for one, is very difficult to put suspension on. It takes a lot of modification. There are guys out there who do it, don't get me wrong, and the Oso Labs, I know you do a great job, bro. I want to get a chassis from you. But besides the point, there's few out there who do good work, and that's the thing. It's few and far in between for open class that do the MA chassis. And with saying that, you look at the new ME chassis that they just came out with, it is very similar in these cross sections that the ME chassis is running. So technically for open class, this new ME chassis is going to be not that competitive. I feel like it's still going to be behind the MS chassis because, you know, the MS chassis was like almost designed to be able to run suspension on it. The MA chassis, like I said again, is you could do suspension, you can make it compatible, but it has all these little parts, these pieces, so it's very few and far in between people who even want to take on using that chassis for, let's say, competition. So when it comes to this new chassis, the ME chassis, and it being very similar platform to this last MA, I see that it's going to be mostly used for box stock races, tune class, and bmax, which is going to be awesome because we needed more chassis out there that are smooth and easy to work with right out of the box. So especially this new chassis being a dual shaft chassis where the motor is in the center and you have two shafts that go from one end to the other to drive the wheels. It makes the chassis very balanced, so it's a very balanced chassis. All the above is very, very good stats, which is cool because Tamiya, you know, sometimes comes out with some funky things and you're like, it could have been better this way, but this one is actually like they came out with something that we've been kind of waiting for as I look at it. So in my professional opinion, I think this chassis is going to be really on point for all these racers that are looking to tune their car to a certain extent, and once it gets to that certain extent and you want to do open class, it's going to be a little challenging. Like I said, as the MA chassis is just a little challenging for open class. And what makes it challenging again is being limited with the suspension usage. If it wasn't so limited on the ME and MA chassis for the suspension usage, and them being as fast and smooth with the transmission, then you're able to make the car more predictable and take impacts better with the suspension. Now, because again, they're very smooth chassis out of the box, and it takes a lot of effort to put suspension on these chassis, the MA and the ME. Presumably, they're going to be more based around just a tunable type of car instead of a modifiable type of car. So with all that said, I have a couple pictures that I'll show you guys that I dug up, like I said, from RC Mart, and there are only three, I believe 3 or 4 of them. 2 of them are of the front and rear of the car, and one of them actually shows the display of what the chassis looks like with the gears inside, and you'll see what I mean by how similar this new chassis came out with looks to the MA, almost to the fact that it has smaller wings on here and the front of it is more smooth. I mean, realistically, it's very, very similar chassis, and that's why I am basing this new chassis off of the MA with this video. I might be wrong, but with the research that I have done, it does not look to be anything compatible to the MS chassis, where, like I said, you're able to do suspension and take it this far, but we'll see. with time, as everyone is given, people love to push and push and push to see how far they could take these cars, these chassis, myself included. So saying that it isn't going to be a good chassis for open class is kind of a stretch, but at the same time, it's not that it's not going to be a good chassis for open class. It's going to not be the most competitive and easy chassis to work with for open class. So with that information I've given you, taking consideration when you are building on this new chassis for open class or for any competition you're coming about, see if you find yourself in a position of it being actually an easier chassis than the MA. Well, come back to this video and comment and say I'm wrong. But for all the info that I've dug up, this chassis and the new one, quite similar. And I was thinking that I was going to be more disappointed, to be honest, that they are, but I'm not. I'm actually quite happy, because getting people into this hobby is difficult. And having the kits that are pretty much ready to go, like easier to put together, and they're fast, they're fun, which is usually the dual shaft chassis, are the kits that get people into this hobby, because they come with the cooler bodies, they come with, you know, y'all know, that's why you're watching this channel, that's why you're into the hobby. It's usually because of the dual shaft stuff, not because of the single shaft. You kind of get into the single shaft afterwards and you're like, oh, there's two different types of motors. You have a single shaft motor and oh, blah, 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 you know? But with this is a great new chassis that's going to be getting, I feel like, more people in general displayed to this hobby. And yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Advertisement for mini four-wheel drive is already hard enough as it is, so when you got Tamiya coming out with something new and it's like a reinforcement of still mini four-wheel drive is being pushed forward by this big company, it's great. You know, it gives a person like me and a lot of, I'm sure, social media people, a lot of people who do this hobby for, you know, sport, make money, whatever the, you know, your reason may be, it gives you a little bit of fuel to say, hey, we're not doing this for just shits and giggles, excuse my language, but we're doing this because us see a future in this hobby that a lot of people don't. And thankfully, the company that started this so long ago does too, and still does, Tamiya. Even though y'all, I know, in Japan kind of take a back seat to this stuff, but I know Tamiya, you came out with this chassis, and that was a nod to us, saying we didn't forget about you. So nod to you. I'm making this video saying thank you, and for everybody watching this video, thank you for tuning in. It was just a short one. I'm gonna put those pictures, like I said, of what I dug up, so you could see what the chassis looks like, and a few images other than me talking. But thank you for tuning in, as always. Subscribe, comment, all those beautiful things are free. You know, the buttons are fun to press. Yeah. But God bless. Have a good day. Laters.